It's one of the most unique events in all of motorsports, the Buffalo Chip TT with American Flat Track. We're racing around the bar, and the backdrop, the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, the largest event of its kind in America.
Flat track motorcycle racing. Just to recall what it was like in the beginning, let us take a quick look back at the turn of the century. It takes stout lads like them to go for this kind of competition. It's trials like this that have made the two-wheel little giant the tough piece of mechanism it is today. Take a look at this motorcycle.
Each of today's races draws large crowds from all over the country.
It's a revolution.
Testing and bettering, testing and perfecting. Right up, cowboy.
The wave of the future.
You got a good start anyway.
Yeah, and we'll see how hot I was the whole time.
Every chance I get to race, I enjoy it.
What will you do? How hard are you willing to go? Will you let fear win? Or will you rise
Big one for Jared Mees.
and find victory?
Shayna Hexter takes the win.
It changes the way we look at racing.
Briar Bauman has fought back from some adversity to re-stretch his points lead in the AFT Twins Championship, leaving Jared Mees to respond to the challenge here at the Buffalo Chip and try to get some points back. But you got to watch out for the Jiggy Dog, JD Beach, who won at a TT track earlier this year in Arizona and will be fast tonight. Dalton Gauthier has scratched and clawed his way back to the top of the AFT Singles standings. But whenever Ryan Sipes shows up at a TT, the ex-Supercross racer is a contender. He won this race a year ago. There's no race quite like this here at the Buffalo Chip. Jason Wygant joined by former series champ Brad Baker. Good to have you with us. Kristen Beat patrolling the racetrack. Brad, here are the standings. Been a wild season so far.
Definitely been a lot of close racing, but this last race in New York, it was uncharacteristic for Jared Mees, who struggled, but Briar Bauman got a solid win by a lot of seconds over second place. Got a pretty good stretch on Jared Mees going into the Buffalo Chip.
And we'll talk about Buffalo Chip. So you come here, it's the Sturgis Road Rally. We'll actually have two races as a part of this. And the Buffalo Chip itself, when you build a TT track around the bar, it draws a lot of fans and some celebrities like Ricky Carmichael, who's up here riding, hanging out. Godsmack will be in concert, and that's all integrated in with American Flat Track Racing here. But let's talk about the track that they built, Brad.
The Buffalo Chip TT is probably the most technical track that we have on the circuit. As you can see here, there's not very many straightaways, so the guys are always turning around the racetrack. It makes passing really hard, so the guys have to be on it to be able to make moves.
All right, well, aggressive racing is what we'll look forward to, and the start is super critical, but the atmosphere a big part too. Let's send it to Kristen.
Rod Woodruff is the president and CEO of the Sturgis Buffalo Chip. And Rod, out here, just looking out at the stage, there's so many people here from so many different countries and states, all here to celebrate motorcycling, but also a very unique festival atmosphere. There's so much for fans to do out here.
Well, there is. We have 9 races. I think we have 10 motorcycle shows. We have 10 days of world-class concerts, more than 30 bands following the racing and some of the other activities. We have some charity rides. We got lots of goofing off by lots of people, and the real reason people come is because they're on vacation. They know they're going to come here and find other people that they really like, make good friends, have a good time, go home, and remember it.
How would you describe the energy here at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip, especially on race weekend?
Oh, right now, a fella just talked to me a minute ago. He said, can you believe the energy that's out here, It's phenomenal. You can feel it everywhere. And then these guys going by here at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour in front of the stage, that adds a little buzz to it, too. This is great, the energy level here.
Jason, Rod is exactly right. There is an electricity here at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip.
Thanks, Kristen. Let's plug it in here. The AFT Twins, presented by Vance and Hines. Storyline, semi-number 1. Great start by JD Beach, picking right up where he left off when he won the TT in Arizona. Everyone else filing in behind him. So Beach looks good early, but watch Wiles in the 17 and Bauman on the 14. This is where things get a little too close for comfort, Brad.
Yeah, Briar sees a hole open, tries to take it, then Henry tries to close the door, and they come together.
Take another look at it. Also, Brandon Price stalls it there, the rookie on the outside. Take a look at this again.
Yeah, Briar sees a hole open, knows he has to take it because you have to be aggressive on these types of racetracks. Unfortunately, they both go down. Brandon Price stalls the motorcycle, isn't able to keep on going. Briar and Henry, fortunately their bikes stayed running and they're able to keep on going and finish the race.
Yeah, and that's a huge thing. You'll see in a minute. Beach goes on to take the victory. Bauman gets the last transfer spot in 8th. Wiles couldn't get his machine going. He used a provisional to make the main, so both of them sneak in barely. We go into semi number 2, and Sammy Halbert goes down early.
Yeah, Sammy Halbert just loses the rear end, comes right around from him. You can see here a soft crash, but just trying to be aggressive coming into turn 1.
Oh, starts are so critical here. Good battle between Carver and Bronson Bauman, and taking advantage of that, the number 5. Jake Johnson, who won this race a year ago, this time on the Yamaha, and he's able to hold off Bauman. Jared Mees, your defending champ, cruises in for 3rd. So now our field in the main is set, and they expected JD Beach to be strong on the Eskinson Yamaha. He was, and his teammate Jake Johnson takes the other semi. As for our singles class, they call Ryan Sipes the generalist because he races a variety of racing series, but he seems to specialize in winning here at Buffalo Chip. We'll talk to him next. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys. If you go down, call Russ Brown. By Roof Systems of Dallas, Texas, the entitlement sponsor of AFT Singles. And by Cat Rental Store, the official heavy equipment supplier of American Flat Track. It's always parity in the Roof Systems AFT Singles division. Points lead has swapped several times this year, Brad.
Yeah, we have a new point leader, Dalton Gauthier, who won the last race in New York after Mikey Rush failed to make a main event. But between the top 3, Dan Bromley sitting in 3rd, is still really close.
Now, when you come here, you don't think about points. You think about the 264 of Ryan Sipes, who only races TTs in this series. But a year ago, he won this event. Former Supercross racer knows his way around. Here's Kristen.
Ryan Sipes won this race in 2018, and Ryan, you did so employing a really unique strategy. You told me you wheelied the jump, and you told me you did that to prevent yourself from bottoming out. How much did that help you in the race?
I think a little bit, mainly just because I didn't bottom out and I could set up for the corner a little bit better. I don't know if it was that much faster, but it was more comfortable for me to do it. And I didn't think that much of it, but apparently, you know, other people didn't think about it because they said, nobody's ever done that. And I'm like, cool, you know. I don't know if it's the same this year, if they've changed it at all, but if it's the same, I'll probably be doing it again.
The last time we saw you race the American Flat Track Series, you were leading the Springfield TT. What did you learn by racing that event that you can now apply here?
Oh, if I have the lead, maybe just chill out a little bit. What's crazy is at Springfield, I didn't think I was doing anything crazy. I was just riding. I just felt really good, and I was going as fast as I could, and I ended up crashing. So we'll see. Hopefully, you know, my plan is to pull the whole shot and try to win again. And if I get out front, maybe I will just take a hair off of it just so I can stay up.
Well, you watch the 264. He's not taking a hair off of the start. That was actually a red flag restart. He worked so hard to get that whole shot over Bromley, and then he was off and running.
Yeah, Ryan did exactly what he had to do, and all the competitors behind him are struggling now and tried to keep up.
Bromley's Mr. Consistency hasn't won a race this year, but generally around the podium. He finished 2nd here ahead of Gauthier. And how about Jeff Ward, 57 years old? The multi-time motocross, supercross, and supermoto champ is into the main. Great race here in Semi 2 between Kos and Rispoli.
Yeah, you can tell that Rispoli has had a lot of practice in British Superbike because he's been really strong here at the TTs, showing here right behind Chad Kos.
Oh, almost got Chad Kos at the line. Look at Kos absolutely wide open on that 49 to hold him off. Rush into the main event with a 4th, as well as Ryan Wells, who's going to be a contender. We are now ready for our main event, but first let's send it to the grid and Kristen.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. No different than football. The more quality plays that you have in your playbook, the better your offense will be. And Ryan Sipes has developed a playbook with more depth than anyone else in this series. He is coming off an overall win at the Hawaiian Supercross. He also just returned from the Erzberg Endurocross. His strength and stamina are now at its peak. He told me, with all that I'm doing, I'm learning more every day and I'm challenging myself. Now, guys, through those challenges, he's developing an incomparable racing aptitude. That's why we see him do things like scrubbing the jump here at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip TT, and to me, that's a storyline for Ryan Sipes tonight. How will he race this track differently than anyone else? He was our fastest qualifier. He won his semi. He looks to be on his way to victory lane. How will he be using his playbook tonight, Jason?
That's a good question, Kristen, as we look at the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys starting lineup. The TT's not the traditional flat track. So what do these guys got to do to try to hold Sipes back? He's good at this.
Yeah, Chad Coase has the pole, but Ryan Sipes definitely has the biggest playbook in TT racing right now. All these usual flat track racers, big X on the back is on Ryan Sipes. They want to beat Ryan here at the Buffalo Chip TT.
Other riders that can do it. Gautier, your points leader. Rispoli, very good in the semi. Crowd is lined up. Yes, we are racing around a bar. Get 500,000 people here at Sturgis for the motorcycle rally, so they are pumped up. Let's go racing in a main event. It will be the Roof Systems AFT Singles main. Sipes, can anyone stop him? The number 1 of Bromley, a good jump. Sipes and Gautier. Sipes able to edge him off on the 264 into the lead.
Sipes did exactly what he had to do. That's not what all the other competitors wanted, though. But Dalton Gautier sitting in second, our points leader. He's going to have to try to track him down here.
And Bromley filing into the number 3 spot. I think that's Coase up to 4th on the white, number 49. Gautier giving Sipes a run here. Wow, hard to get traction out of that corner.
Yeah, you see Chad Coase getting really sideways, and that's the thing about flat track. You always want to be getting the power to the ground moving forward.
How much has the surface changed from practice? Now we're into the nighttime. Is it actually less traction or more now?
Definitely more traction. There's been some water put down in the brake. Also, the moisture comes up at the end of the night, so definitely the track has changed some. So that's definitely going to catch some of these riders off guard, the changes that have been made to the track.
It's like Gautier giving Sipes a good run here, and Sipes is airing out the jump. Here's our replay of Sipes off the line.
Yeah, he just gets a really good launch off the line and shuts the door on Dalton Gautier going into turn 2.
I talked to Sipes about this last year, and he said all that work, so many years, he raced Supercross for a decade. Starts are so critical there, so that kind of lends itself again to that massive playbook. Not wheeling or scrubbing the jump this time, though. He's airing it out.
Yeah, definitely airing it out this year. I believe the track is a little bit different than what it was last year, especially the jump. It has a lot sharper lip on it. I don't think it's able to actually wheelie manual over the jump like he was last year.
Starting to get away from Gautier just a bit. You also want to watch 5th place. That's a TT specialist with Jesse Janish on the 132. He's right behind Coase here. See if Janish can move up. And Jeff Ward in contention. 57 years old, and Wardy's in this thing. 6th place right now.
Jesse Janish hasn't got the greatest starts tonight, and without getting good starts, he's been starting further back in the pack and has his work cut out for him right now, following Chad Coase.
But you never know. Sipes had the early lead of the Arizona Super TT earlier in the year, and he threw it away. Remember, he told Kristen earlier, maybe he's going to take a little hair off if he has the lead, not be quite as aggressive. So strategy could play a role here. Sipes, he's got a little mini-series going with Red Bull right now, tracking all these different events that he goes to throughout the year. Yep, Enduros, Supercross, Motocross, off-road racing in the woods. And then in the TTs, he shows up, but man, Gautier's still lurking.
No, Gautier is definitely right there. If Sipes makes a big mistake, he'll be there to capitalize on it. I know it.
Let's see, as we head to the jump section, how will Gautier and Sipes play it? Any difference that you can see in the style? Is there any sort of scrub? I don't think there's much Sipes can do the way the track laid out this year.
There's definitely a little bit more of a scrub, though. You can notice more so over the other riders. Other riders are jumping further, and that's the one thing Sipes said. The quicker he can get back down to the ground, the quicker he can accelerate again. So even though it's not as much of a scrub as it's been on other tracks, he's definitely able to throw a little bit of emphasis in it to get the bike back down to the ground quicker than anybody else.
We got Ward, Rispoli, and Janish all ganging up on Coase right now. 3 riders trying to pass that number 49 and put it a little further into the top 5. Janish, a mistake, looks over. Wardy's going to try to get him.
Chad Coase is having a lot of trouble coming into the corner. You can see that rear wheel hopping. We call that wheel hop from decompression of the engine. It's definitely driving him into the corner and making it hard for him to get it turned.
Janish not able to take advantage yet as Sipes tries to get away from Gautier. Can he make it 2 wins in a row, 2 years in a row here at Buffalo Chip? Ryan Sipes leading the way, the singles class of the Buffalo Chip TT. Yes, it includes a jump. He's pulled away from the field, but here is your battle. Coase, Janish, Rispoli, they're all in contention. They want that 4th place spot, but Coase hasn't given them an opening.
Yeah, Coase seems to be struggling here. He's definitely got a freight train of riders behind him. holding up the field a little bit.
Oh, Janish, who's won several TT races already this season, would love to get around him and then maybe make a run for the podium. Only 6 laps left in this one. First, he's got to make the move. Then he's going to try to make up ground on the rider in third, Dan Bromley. Gautier second, Sipes in the lead.
You can see how Janish is looking behind him. He wants to make sure that nobody's right there to capitalize on him because he wants to be able to open up his line a little bit to try to set up a move on Chad Kos.
Can't quite do it. You also got Jacob Lehman on the 14, now the Honda. Also right there, another attempt at it by Janish.
Oh, no.
Rider down, that is Dallas Daniels, the rookie just turned pro.
Looks like Caden Downing down as well, had nowhere to go there.
Oh, and now the Wheeling caution lights have come out. We've got a red flag. Looks like Dallas is okay. Everyone's gonna have to restart this thing. Good to see no injuries there, but what do you think happened as they all tightened up in that section? We'll take a look at it.
Oh, you can see here, it looks like Jacob Lehman goes a little bit wide, but the front end is tucked immediately there. I believe that same thing happened to Briar Bauman earlier when his front brake got into the backside of another rider's arm, got on the backside of Jacob Lehman's arm, and just tucked the front, and down he went.
Yeah, and then Caden here, Downing, also goes down. There's simply nowhere to go for him. Luckily, both riders appear to be okay, and they will be put to the back of the grid on the restart. Sipes at the front, so this is the ultimate shot for Gautier to try to out-jump Sipes from the second row and try to get the lead. At least he's got the gap down to nothing. He gives it a shot. Almost got up next to Sipes, but Sipes able to pull back out, and it is a mad scramble back here.
You see everybody, they know they got to be aggressive there off the start. That's the quickest way that you can make some moves is right off the start.
On board with Gautier in second, there is Dan Bromley, who's right there in the point standings with him. Last year's champ, would love to get around Dalton and make up a few points on him tonight. Kos somehow is still hanging on to that 4th place spot despite all the pressure.
He's definitely hanging on to it, but it's just by a needle. You can see him making a little mistake there in the last turn, tucking the front just a little bit, getting sideways. It's not what you want to do on this track.
So again, a 3-man breakaway up front. Yeah, there's the scrub from Sipes.
Yeah, he definitely throws a lot of emphasis in it to get the bike back to the ground quicker. You can see that over any other rider.
Gautier and Bromley still there, second and third. Oh, and another stack up back there.
Oh, it's Mikey Rush.
Oh, the man who was the points leader just 1 race ago.
Looked like Mikey Rush actually just stalled the engine there, and Jeff Ward and Hunter Taylor had nowhere to go and stacked them all up. Fortunately, everybody is able to get back going.
Right, so that is going to hurt Rush even further in the points. He didn't make the main in our last event, and he's way in the back in this one. Here's Bromley on the Red Bull KTM. We're going to follow him all the way around here as he tries to figure out a way to get to second and around Gautier.
Yeah, this shows how technical this racetrack is. You can see the throttle control that you have to keep the power at the ground all the way around this track.
Bromley right there. Gautier not giving him an opening. Sipes continues to scrub that jump, throws it sideways, sets himself up well for this corner. This is big for the points if Bromley can get Gautier.
It's huge for the points because these two are really close in the points. Mikey Rush having that crash earlier in this race, they're going to stretch it out on here.
Yeah, every spot's going to matter, especially the way the points have swung. Gautier has not made a main this year. Rush has not made a main this year. No wins for Bromley, but his specialty is consistency at all the different types of tracks. So you never know what one position here could mean everything at the end of the season.
After Rush failed to qualify for the last race in New York, now Bromley's the only rider that's actually qualified for every main event. So like you said, super consistent, and that's why he's up there in the points.
Remember earlier, Sipes said, this time if I get the lead, I want to take a little something off. Don't want to throw it away like he did at Springfield. Said all he's been thinking about from then when he crashed the lead away to now is get to Buffalo Chip and win. This time he's about a half a lap away from delivering the victory one more time over the jump. Big crowd on hand here at Buffalo Chip. He's right on top of the racing. They're going to congratulate him. Gautier trying to hang on. It'll still feel like a win in some ways because he is going to be able to hold Bromley off if he can stay error-free through these final turns. Ryan Sipes, the generalist, but specializing here at Buffalo Chip He wins it for the second year in a row.
Great win for Ryan Sipes. You can just see how excited he is. See here, that's the best feeling in the world.
Oh, and that mad rush across the line. Fourth. I don't even know how Ryan Wells did it. I didn't even see him in that battle, but the Estenson Yamaha native squeezes through to get the spot. That helps him a ton in points. Janish and Rispoli were never able to make the move. Maxwell, the Australian, 8th. Lehman was in the hunt the entire time, 9th. Ward and Rush, victims of that crash, 14th and 16th. Let's send it down to Kristen.
Ryan, I spoke with Ricky Carmichael immediately following that race, and he said you put on a clinic out there. But over that jump, last year you wheelied, and it helped you out a little bit. This year, you did a modified scrub whip. How much did that help you in that main event?
I think it did, for sure, just because, I mean, the main you couldn't tell. I couldn't tell how much I was gaining, but in the semi, I know when I was battling with Dan, and I could tell I was gaining on him there, so I knew I had to keep doing it, and that's kind of moto. Like, if there's a jump, you kind of do it anyway. You just want to get back on the ground as quick as you can. I think it was definitely a little bit better, but I'm just stoked because after Springfield, I was super bummed out, and I really I needed this win to, I knew I knew I was good enough, and I rode good today. I rode better than I did last year to win here, and I'm just stoked, man. I got the win. I'm stoked.
The generalist on top. Gauthier and Bromley will join him on the podium and continue their battle for this championship. Mikey Rush losing some ground, so who knows? Maybe it's a two-rider battle.
Yeah, Dalton Gauthier extending his points lead, but look at this, Dan Bromley moving in the second after Mikey Rush has a bad race here at the Buffalo Chip TT.
Still plenty of racing to go, though, this year in a class that's generally pretty wild. You never know what's going to happen at the next event. Sipes on top tonight in the singles class. And yeah, there's another Supercross racer, Ricky Carmichael, hanging out with our race winner. We're going to hang out at the Dionysi headquarters next. Michael Locke of American Flat Track going to talk to Robert Sadowski about some of the latest safety technology. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Indian Motorcycle. Be legendary. By Vance & Hines, the presenting sponsor of AFT Twins. By American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. Look at this atmosphere. We are almost ready for our Twins main event in American Flat Track for the Buffalo Chip. But first, a look into some new safety technology.
Michael,
Roberto.
thank you so much for coming. I'm really glad we finally made it.
Yeah, well, always nice to come to Southern California. So, Roberto, you're an Italian guy living in the US. American Flat Track is the most American motorcycle sport. We reached out and started this conversation because we had a need. The sport has grown tremendously in the last few years. It's become cool again, which is great for us and our business. But with it brings responsibilities. We need to do everything we can to push back the frontiers of safety. And I think that the airbag suit technology was the thing that was most attractive to us. We knew you had that expertise, and that's what we needed in Flat Track.
Well, I have to tell you, we were very intrigued, first of all, by the challenge, right? By the call to action. How can we make this sport safer? We shared, at that point, the same mission, which is to not only protect, but to advocate safety. For us, it was a must to join, to develop the airbag to make this sport safer. We have 7 sensors, gyroscopes, accelerometers, and GPS, and they all talk together. And through an algorithm, they detect whether there is an imminent crash or not. And if they all agree that there's an imminent crash, it sets off the airbag. The dynamics that happen in MotoGP and in road racing are not exactly the same in flat track. There's different kind of movements. So what we had to do in the beginning is to put the system without the actual airbag in the hump of the suit so that we could gather data and understand how the dynamics change so that our engineers could adjust a little bit the system so that, oh, that's actually not a crash, so we need to lower or higher the bar, how sensitive it is.
2020 is going to see us mandating the use of airbag suits in our elite class, and your company's contribution in developing the technology and making it available to teams already was the key for us that unlocked the door to be able to say from 2020, you must use this.
Safety keeps improving. Now we're introducing the airbag. Let's see what's next. The safer the sport is, the more successful it will be for sure.
Yeah, I think safety married to excitement is the sweet spot, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Roberto, thanks for the chat. It's been very insightful and we appreciate your contribution to the sport very much. We see Dainese as a partner, not as a sponsor, as a partner. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
thank
so
you
much
for
for
this
being here.
opportunity as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely great to see them getting on board with some good things for the riders. As far as our Dunlop tire talk, it's a little simple this weekend, Brad.
Yeah, every team and riders had the option of either run the R5, the softer compound, or the R8, the harder compound. Since the Buffalo Chip TT has a slower speed, doesn't build heat in the tire, each team and riders chose to go with the R5. It makes putting the power to the ground easier, and the riders can be that much more aggressive.
All right, well, that should lead to good racing in the main. JD Beach sure looks good in the Estenson Yamaha. Briar Bauman, our points leader, crashed in his semifinal qualifier. He has to bounce back. Our main event is coming up next. We're ready to go. Main event time. American Flat Track at the Buffalo Chip TT. Look at this crowd and this atmosphere. We set up a track around the bar at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. JD Beach, one of the top contenders. He's been fast all day, always good in a TT circuit. Kristen Beat has cut up to someone who is always good on a supercross or motocross track, the greatest of all time.
Thanks, Jason. We are honored with the presence of the GOAT here at the Sturgis Buffalo Chip TT. Ricky, what do you make of all this?
Oh, it's a lot of fun, and you know, just the American Flat Track racers are so much fun. It's been fun to watch Ryan Sipes. He put on a clinic there in the first main event, and we're going to watch the twins go here. It's my first time coming. I used to watch Daytona, the municipal stadium, when they raced there a long time ago when I was a youngster. So this is the first time I've been back since then. And it's a lot of fun. These guys have a lot of talent, and I can't wait to watch the second main event go off.
Now, Ricky, I know you mentioned seeing Jeff Ward out here and how cool you thought that was earlier on. I mean, is there any chance that maybe down the line we might see you hop on one of these bikes?
I would love to. It would be a lot of fun, especially a TT track like this. The roundy rounds, I don't know about that. Those guys are aces at what they do, but definitely TT, switching it up a little bit. I think I would like to do it. So we just got to line it up and hopefully try it sometime. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
So you guys, you hear that? He's saying there's a chance.
All right, RC, come out here and get this done. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, Chad Reed actually said he would do it, so we need to get a bunch of retired supercross, motocross racers out here.
All right, that'd be great. These guys are pretty good at their day jobs, racing flat track, but normally that's not a TT, so this race could be pretty wild tonight.
Oh, it'll definitely be wild. This is the wildest track on our circuit.
And here we go. The card is sideways, and we are ready for the AFT Twins main event. 5, Jake Johnson. Looks like he's going to edge them into the first turn and lead them out. Vanderkoy on the number 20, the Harley-Davidson, right behind the Yamaha in second. And a good start by the jammer. Jared Mees is there in third.
Jake Johnson doing exactly what he has to do. He was the winner of the Buffalo Chip TT last year, so maybe he's going to be able to set sail.
Certainly has confidence on these TT tracks. There is Beach. He's in fifth right now, trying to make moves. Wow, Jake Johnson not wasting time, already drawing away a bit from Vanderkoy.
Yeah, Vanderkoy on the Banster 9's Harley-Davidson sitting in second.
Hey, look at this. Godsmack is here to perform in concert tonight, but they're also handling as best they can.
I think he needs a little bit of practice there with that green flag.
He's got his own skills tonight. We'll see after the race. It doesn't matter. The riders know exactly what to do, and that's go for it. Bronson Bauman in fourth, now nearly bumping Mees from third, and JD Beach right behind him.
Yeah, that's how hard it is for these riders to pass on this track. They really got to be tire to tire because they have to be there to capitalize. If that rider makes a mistake, they got to be that close to be able to make the move.
So it is a game of inches. We're on board now with Bronson Bauman on the Factory Indian. Right behind him is Beach. He's doing everything he can. There's an opening. Beach almost had it.
Yeah, you can just hear how Bronson Bauman's putting the power to the ground. Really has to have throttle control around this small racetrack on such a big motorcycle.
Well, how do you practice that sort of patience? You want to go, 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 but that actually works against you.
It does work against you. I mean, especially on, like I said, a tight technical track like this, if you ride just a little bit too aggressive, you'll make a mistake. So a lot of these riders, they ride motocross during the week just to practice that patience and have him to put the power to the ground and just be able to roll through the track.
Bauman still holding off Beach. That's Bronson. Briar Bauman, his brother, the points leader, a little bit further back. Now we're on board with Mies, and another attempt at it by Beach. Ooh, that got close. If you're watching the SNS onboard, Beach and Bronson almost came together.
Yeah, so close. I mean, just a little mistake from either rider, you'll clip or reel on the bike in front of you, and over the high side you go. So these guys got to be aggressive, but they also got to be careful not to fall down.
Shout out to that 199 PJ Jacobson, who's in the hunt as well.
Whoa. Close together for Bronson and JD. JD almost gets by him, but not able to make it happen.
Oh, that's 2 times they've almost collided. Just a byproduct of racing on this type of track. Beach still trying to make it happen. Bronson holding him off on the 37. Mies just ahead on the 1. And Vanderkoy doing a good job in second. You don't even see the leader, Jake Johnson.
JD's being aggressive. He's a rider from the Pacific Northwest, grew up racing small little short tracks. He's not afraid to get in and bang handlebars and move somebody out of the way.
What's the situation with Vanderkoy there in second? Can they all get around him, or is he actually holding his own? Or is he holding them up?
I think he's holding them up a little bit. You kind of can see how he's changed his riding style coming into the corner a little bit, like he's almost waiting for the corner. I don't know if something's happened with his brakes or something definitely seems to be up with the motorcycle.
And more contact back there. That is Briar Bauman. Your points leader is down.
Oh, he appears to be hurt too. That's not good for the points leader.
No, I hope he's all right, obviously for his sake, but also what effect might this have? It's Jared Mies second in the points, running third. Here's the number 14.
PJ Jacobson gets a little sideways, and Briar just has nowhere to go, clips his rear wheel and goes over the high side like I was talking about earlier. It's so easy to do when you're running that close to the rider in front of you.
Oh boy, well, what's going to happen? Certainly going to take a hit in points, but is he even okay? Is he healthy? Try to find out. He is actually back up on the motorcycle here, so at least health-wise he's all right, but huge, huge opportunity for Jared Mies on the number 1 here to make up a lot of points.
Definitely a huge opportunity. I don't know if he's a lap down or not, but if he's still on the lead lap, maybe if they got a red flag, Briar will be able to get back into this race.
Oh, right now disaster has struck for Briar. And remember, we had a race earlier in the year where he had tire problems and didn't score points there. So this is what Mies does. He's good on every type of surface. He's in the hunt right now. This is Briar's younger brother, Bronson, holding off Beach still. Beach is relentless with the attack from 5th.
And you can hear Bronson gets to the rev limiter just a little bit in the end of the straightaway, but everywhere else he's just modulating the throttle. Watching
Mies here in 3rd on the number 1, trying to get around Vanderkoy. Kind of settled in right now, Vanderkoy. No one's able to do anything with him.
It looked like he was having a little bit of trouble there for a while, and just when we say that, he puts on 4 or 5 bike links on Jared Mies.
Yeah, he's really settled in here on the number 20, the factory Vance and Hines Harley-Davidson. We see Briar back there, but is he a lap down? Yeah, he is a lap down. Another shot at it from Beach. Finally makes the move.
Yeah, JD did what he had to do. He's seen an opening, took it. Like I said, he knew he had to be aggressive and took over the spot from Bronson Bauman.
Are the riders a little more forgiving with each other if contact is made in a race like this than at some of the others?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
The speed is lower, so they know that, hey, Rubbin's racing on a track like this. As long as the rider doesn't go down, no harm, no foul.
Okay, so Bronson's not going to be too mad about that?
No, I don't think so. He knew that, hey, that's what you have to do. The riders, they're respectful to one another, but they know they have to be aggressive.
Hey, Jake Johnson has gotten away, and you can see Jared Mies in 3rd has closed back up to the rear tire of the 2nd place rider, Vanderkoy. Those 3, critical juncture of the race. If one of them can make a run at it, still time. But if it keeps going like this race is going to be all in the favor of the number 5. So let's see how this battle for 2nd turns out.
Now, this is a difficult thing for Jake Johnson to do. He's out in the lead right now, but he knows that he can't get too comfortable because he doesn't know what the pace is. If the riders behind him are pushing, catching up to him, he doesn't want to get too comfortable because then riders will start to catch up.
And if the 95 of Beach can get around these 2, you know he can run that pace. So let's see how it turns out. I thought Mies had an opening. Can't quite get around Vanderkoy.
Yeah, now Vanderkoy is definitely starting to slow down again. It's He started to show that a little bit early on in the race. Now he's doing it again to where he's running into the corner more straight up and down, kind of coasting, waiting for the corner. Who knows what's going on with that motorcycle?
So Mies, how does he play it? He's got Beach right behind him, but well, that made it easy. Van der Kooi went wide.
Yeah, Van der Kooi went wide. I think something had to be going up with his rear brake because he just wasn't charging into the corner, so you can see right there just coming in straight up and down. Maybe just something happened with the rear brakes and he blew the corner.
Okay, so now Mies doesn't have to worry about passing someone while holding off Beach. But holding off Beach is going to be quite a challenge in itself. Look at how close the 95 is. They almost come together. They call him Jiggy Dog. He's not giving up on this one. He's in third, but wants to go to the front. JD Beach has been working over Jared Mies to try to take second while we were at break. He still can't get around the multi-time and defending series champ. There's his shot at it, and he's got it, Brad.
Looked like Jared Mies just looked over his shoulder and let him by. That was weird.
Well, what's the play there? Is it a points race for him and saying, look, if you're quicker, I don't want to go down battling you, or did he just make a mistake?
That could potentially be in it. He could have seen that Breyer went down and just wants to be conservative for the championship. I mean, JD was pressuring him hard, and sometimes when you're being pressured like that, you'll make a mistake. Also, he knows that JD Beach will be aggressive, and possibly JD would come in and try to make a aggressive move and take them both down. So possibly that Jared just looked over and let him on by.
Yeah, JD not running for the title this year because he does moonlight. He races in Moto America as a road racer as well. But when he shows with the TTs, he's here to win. Mies has got to play the long game for the title. Meanwhile, Brad, we're looking at Yamaha's 1-2 right now.
Yeah, this will be the first 1-2 finish for the Yamaha team, but we got 5 to go. But we have 2 lap riders now. We got James Monaco and Larry Pegram in between JD Beach and Jake Johnson. This could play a factor in the last 5 laps of this race.
Yeah, this is the first time, Brad, we've seen Beach have open racetrack, and there's lap traffic, and there's 5 laps. Can he close up on Johnson?
I wouldn't doubt JD Beach. When he starts to smell blood, he just starts to go faster, and you know that JD doesn't get tired. He puts a lot into his training efforts.
And he did come from behind when he won in Arizona against Breyer Bauman, and the lap traffic is working against Johnson a little bit. Here's Monaco that now Beach has to clear. Johnson has gotten around Pegram on the 72. Whoa!
He really aired it out on that one. The front end was super high. That was a hard landing. These motorcycles don't necessarily, now he's really making some mistakes. You can see this is exactly what JD Beach needs.
Is this Johnson realizing that the pressure's coming? He's trying to respond to that?
I think so. I know that Jake Johnson knows that he has to move forward, but at the same time, he doesn't want to ride too hard and make any more mistakes.
And Pegram waves Beach by, making it a little bit easier on the 95. He's closed up about half of the distance that he had. Is there time now? Is Johnson a little bit smoother over the jump now? Is there time for Beach to get him? He keeps getting closer.
This is a time that JD knows that he needs to charge harder than he has a whole race, but he only has, what, a lap and a half left to go? It's going to be close.
Oh boy, and we know passing is very difficult. Even if you can get there, what can Beach do? And their teammates, so he doesn't want to get too aggressive with his fellow Estenson Yamaha rider. Wow, look at the interval.
You can see that they're getting so much closer, but you can also tell that Jake Johnson's starting to make some mistakes, going a little bit wider, coming in the corner, and see if JD will be able to inch up on Jake Johnson.
Well, that mistake would be what JD would need to try to take the lead away. They're coming around, fans. It's exactly what they wanted. It's going to be a one-on-one duel for the win down to the last lap here at the Buffalo Chip.
Jake makes a little mistake there going in the last turn. JD is closer than he's ever been.
Here it is. White flag is out. Can Jake Johnson win this race 2 years in a row? JD Beach going to do everything he can. It's his only chance to make a pass. He catches him on the last lap.
Jake Johnson's going to have to make a mistake. Oh, he tries to air it out and get by, but not close enough. I don't think he's going to get aggressive with his teammate. But Jake Johnson's going to have to make a mistake on this last corner to give JD a shot.
Oh, JD's pushing him, trying to make him make a mistake. Johnson's been around. He's won the championship in this series multiple times. He knows exactly what to do to bring it home.
JD has a run.
He's got an opening.
Oh, no.
JD Beach. He takes the lead and the checkered flag. I'm not even sure what happened there.
Did you see that puff of smoke that came out of Jake Johnson's bike? I believe something happened to Jake's bike.
Out of the last turn.
The last 20 feet. Can you believe that?
JD Beach has taken the win. Yeah, we haven't seen passes in that straightaway. He had an opening.
He gets a little bit of a run, but I didn't think it was going to be enough. Look, you see right there.
Wow.
You see the smoke come out?
And the frustration as the hand comes off the bar for Johnson. So that's it. You think he lost power right there?
I believe so. You can see how the front wheel was in the air, then all of a sudden it just went down immediately.
Yes.
Yep, you can see the smoke come out of the rear tailpipe.
Unbelievable. JD Beach has dug this one out. Yeah, he was going to get close. Maybe not enough to make the pass, but Johnson's bike slows, and JD Beach finds himself taking the lead for the first time in the race. What, 5 feet from the finish?
5 feet, but that's the most important 5 feet.
That's right.
The most important lap is the last one.
Briar Bauman 16th and Jared Mees in 3rd. So that is huge. Move in the race. You know what that is. The pass for the win.
Gonna be this last lap here. Last corner, actually last 20 feet, if you can believe that. JD Beach gets a run on him. Didn't think it was gonna be quite enough, but you can just see the smoke come out of Jake Johnson's exhaust right about there, right there.
Yeah, and he moves forward on the motorcycle. That's the Motul move of the race. Here's Kristen.
JD, in those closing laps, you not only made the pass around Jared Mees, but you also made the pass around your teammate, Jake Johnson, in the last 15 feet of that race. How offensively did you have to race here at the Buffalo Chip TT to get this win?
Yeah, you know, it was a good race. I didn't get off to the greatest of starts, but just kind of put my head down, and, you know, it was really hard to pass, and so I just tried to stay calm and make my pass, and I saw Jake got a good gap, and then I worked my way up into second, and I started catching Jake, and I was just trying to ride as hard as I could, and on the last lap I was there, but I wasn't close enough to try and do something, and then coming out of the last turn, I heard his bike kind of make a noise and slow down a little bit, so I got by him, and so, you know, I mean, it's awesome to win, but to win like that, I mean, like it's not the same feeling. And I mean, Jake's such a great guy. So I hate to see that happen to him, but you know, no, it's awesome to get the win, and for Sipes to get the win. I mean, we're both from Kentucky, so no, it's really cool.
That's right, they both ride together quite a bit. JD even dragged Sipes into this thing in the first place, and now they've both finished on top in the same night. We'll be right back. American Flat Track on NBCSN is brought to you by Vance & Hines, the presenting sponsor of AFT Twins. By Roof Systems of Dallas, Texas, the entitlement sponsor of AFT Singles. And by American Flat Tracker Clothing Company. Find your groove at AmericanFlatTracker.com. Sunoco Go the Distance Award standings. Jeffrey Carver has amassed the most miles in practice qualifying and racing this year, so he leads in those standings. As for the point standings in the AFT Twins division, Briar Bauman's lead cut into tremendously now.
Yeah, after the crash that Briar had, Jared is definitely, he cut it in half from what he had, so they're going to be going into the Black Hills half mile here in a couple days. You know that Briar's going to be looking for redemption.
Here's Jared on the podium.
Jared Mees finishing 3rd overall tonight at the Buffalo Chip TT. Jared, it almost looked like you gave it away and allowed JD Beach to make that pass on you.
Yeah, he pressured me for 5 or 6 laps, and I wasn't moving forward, and I just kind of got tense and tight and just couldn't relax. I just didn't want to afford tipping over myself or having JD run up the inside of me and knock me down or knock us both down. And honestly, I seen Briar riding around and last, and decided to play defense. I mean, it's usually not my type of deal, but I just felt like I couldn't do the pressure right now, and just kind of gave it up in a way, you know. And there was a big gap from 3rd to 4th, so just brought it home.
That's what champions do, scoring the big points, getting on the box. As for that race for the win, heartbreak for the number 5 of Jake Johnson, who led the whole thing until the bike let go at the end.
JD got up in the second and, you know, was just making ground, and I was just counting down the laps. And like, I think we got enough time to do this. And last lap, I heard him right on me and, you know, just played it defensive. You know, I was hoping being my teammate, he wasn't going to do anything too dirty. But, you know, I just kind of protected and, you know, coming off of turn 4, I'm like, all right, we got this thing. It's going to be close, but we got it. And, yeah, something let go. And, you know, JD was able to get me at the line. So it's a heartbreaker, but I mean, you know, that second half of that race, he was the fastest guy on the track. But, yeah, I mean, second. Last year we won. The first year we were 3rd. So, finished on every spot of the podium at Buffalo Chip. So hopefully next year we can redeem ourselves and get back on top.
He's good in the TTs, but next up a half mile.
Yeah, the Black Hills half mile is the fastest half mile we have on the circuit. Riders look forward to this race every year, so it should be exciting.
All right, can't wait for that one. As for Buffalo Chip, the crowd did not let us down. Neither did Ryan Sipes, who wins in the singles class. JD Beach on top in twins. For Brad Baker and Kristen Beat, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching. We'll see you from Black Hills.